everyone! My name is Abby Freeman and I teach 3rd grade at Sequoia Elementary. Shout out to all of my Thunderbirds. I miss you so much. During this video, we will be on week 3 for science. You can find all activities on the KCS website under the Student Resources tab or inside the week 3 packet. Printed copies are given out at meal distribution sites on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you take pictures while you are making your model or of your comic book strip, we would love to see them on Twitter, and I have put our Twitter handle at KCS Science for you to tweet at us. We would love to see those. If this video is hard to understand, you can turn on closed captions if available, adjust the playback speed to slow down the video, consider watching short clips, then pause, listen, and watch again. Ask someone in your home to watch the video with you. Stop frequently and talk to your partner about what you heard and understood. So today's question that we are going to ask is, what happens to water on Earth? Feel free to pause during any parts of the video, and that way you can answer the questions that I ask. So what happens to water on Earth? We see water every single day. The video you're seeing now is of a puddle being formed from rain. What happens to the puddle when it stops raining? Does the water disappear? Where does the water go? What about on a hot day when you're outside playing and you take a water bottle and the water is cold? Ooh, that's the best kind of water. And there is water that forms on the outside of the water bottle. Where does that water come from? You didn't spill any water. There are 4 parts of the water cycle. We're going to start with evaporation. We have evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and collection. What do you already know about those 4 parts of the water cycle? We're going to go through each part of the water cycle and discuss what's happening to the water. The first part that we're going to look at is evaporation. I see this a lot of times when I'm cooking. Maybe the steam that comes off of boiling water. In this picture, you can see they're making boiled asparagus. The water molecules in the water cycle are heated up by the sun, and that causes them to turn into water vapor and rise up from whatever collection of water they are in. Once those water molecules cool down, they condense, and that part of the water cycle is called condensation. That's where clouds are formed. The water molecules cool together and form clouds. After the clouds become heavy and they can no longer hold the water molecules that are inside of them, they have to release the water. That's called precipitation. Precipitation has many different forms. You can see sleet, hail, snow, and rain. Remember, the difference between hail and sleet is that hail is formed inside of the cloud from the water molecules bouncing up and down inside that cloud. Sleet is formed outside of the cloud as it's falling to earth. Then I have snow, and the temperature has to be below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. We know that. And rain. We see rain quite frequently in the spring. After that water falls from the clouds, we have Collection. Collection is simply when the water forms back into a stream, a river, a lake, oceans. It's just it gathering back together. This also can happen for groundwater when the water seeps into the ground and collects under the ground. That's called groundwater. As a review, here's a great image of the 4 parts of the water cycle. We have precipitation, collection, evaporation, and condensation. They go in order because they are a cycle. For today's task, you are going to create a model of the water cycle, and this can be found in your 3rd grade week 3 packet. I'm going to go over with you what you need first, and then we'll go over the steps together. You will need a large bowl. This is the bowl that I used. You need water. You also need a clear plastic wrap. That could be saran wrap. It could be a Ziploc bag that's large enough to go over your bowl. For me, I did not have any saran wrap, so I grabbed my vegetable bag from the grocery store. Still a little wet for my activity, but I just put that over top of my bowl and it worked out nicely. You need a coffee mug. Here's my coffee mug. And then a large string or rubber band. Either work great. So part 1. This is going to require you to find a sunny place. If you're unable to do this outside, you can do it in a sunny window, maybe on a table in front of the window, but it works best if you are able to go outside. Next, you're going to pour water into the bowl until the bowl is about 2/3 full. We're practicing fractions too. You don't want to overfill it because it has to be able to, you have to be able to put the mug inside. After that, you're going to place the mug in the center of the bowl. Be careful not to splash water into the mug. You can see that I had to find a mug that was just the right size for my bowl. I didn't want the mug to be too tall to where it poked through my vegetable bag, the clear plastic bag, but it needed to be big enough to take up some space inside the bowl. Next, I cover the top of the bowl with plastic wrap. There's my vegetable bag. It worked out great, and I just slid it right over top. I'm going to use string or a large rubber band to secure that plastic wrap around the bowl. This is really important because you need to create a seal around that lip of your bowl. You don't want any water molecules to escape. Because what do you think is going to happen when we put this bowl full of water in a sunny spot? This part's the toughest. You have to wait. So you're going to look at your bowl of water after 1 hour, after 3 hours, and after 5 hours. While you are doing that, you're going to record your observations. So I drew my observations, and I left 5 hours open for you to do that yourself. After 1 hour in the sun, I drew exactly what I saw. I didn't really see that much that was different from when I put it out there before. It was a cloudy day, so maybe that caused it. You could have different results. After 3 hours in the sun, I started noticing that some water molecules were forming on the top of the, or on the bottom of the saran wrap, that plastic wrap. You can also notice that I put labels on my drawings. That's very important because sometimes people may not know exactly what you drew. I know that if I were to look at my drawing, I may not know what or what someone was trying to tell me. So it's very important to label your drawings. Okay, here's the finished product for mine. Why are there water molecules on the plastic wrap? Those aren't on the outside, those are on the inside. And where did that water come from? I know I didn't spill it. So the mist that forms on the plastic bag is actually water from your ocean. That's the water that's at the bottom of the bowl. The coffee mug, when you take off the plastic bag, be super careful because some of that, the water molecules will fall into your coffee mug. That represents your land. And the water droplets that fall are the precipitation. What do you think? Where is collection? Yeah, a lot of the water molecules will fall back into your ocean at the bottom of your bowl. So you have evaporation by the sun heating up the water in your ocean. The water vapor rises until it can't go any further and it collects on the top of your saran wrap or on the top of your plastic wrap. Then it falls as precipitation and collects back into your ocean, or it might fall into your cup, your coffee mug. That's your land. Part 2. Now this is super fun. You're going to create a comic book strip and act as if you were a water molecule traveling through the parts of the water cycle. A comic book strip, I'm sure you've seen one. They can be found in graphic novels such as Diary of a Wimpy Kid or in comic books. So I gave you an example here. What do you notice about that comic book strip? That's right, there's onomatopoeias. Those are those words that produce the sound. They sound like the word. Zap, kapow, whoosh. Feel free to use any kind of onomatopoeias in your comic book strip. I also have some speech bubbles. You're not writing paragraphs with this. You are more than welcome to if you would like to afterwards. But in comic book strips, you have dialogue between characters with speech bubbles. As you are creating your comic book strip, be sure to include all 4 parts of the water cycle: precipitation, collection, evaporation, and condensation. Can I go from precipitation to evaporation? No. Since this is a cycle, it has to go in a circle. So I have to go in sequential order. That means in sequence. So this is my comic book strip. I left part of it blank or most of it blank because I want you to use your creative juices when designing your comic book strip. But for mine, it says, "Hi, follow me as I make my way through the water cycle." That's my water droplet. You could start at any part of the water cycle. I started at evaporation, and you can see there's a little river, and I could add more detail in the background. And then I have my water molecule. I should have given him a name. You could give yours a name. My water molecule is rising up into the air and he will join the water vapor. And so you can see him. He's being pulled from the river and he's saying, "Ah!" What do you think would come next in my comic book strip? You're right, condensation. Then I would go into precipitation and then collection, and then I could add whatever I wanted at the end. If you don't have any scrap paper or extra paper at home, you could definitely make this on the back of our worksheet in our packet. Thank you so much for participating in this activity. I cannot wait to see all of the amazing things that you all create, and I cannot wait to see your models. Be sure to share them with us at KCS Science on Twitter. We would love to see them. Have a great day. Bye.